Welcome to the USL Live podcast for season 24, week 3. I'm your host, Romulocks, and this show is a weekly podcast where we revisit the results of the previous week, discuss the upcoming matches, and try and predict the winners and how that will impact the rest of the season. Join me to discuss all that and more. I am honored to welcome into the broadcast booth my co-host for this evening. First up, we have Yosh.
Ni hao.
We have the Mountain.
Hello.
And we have Bowen.
What up?
For more information on the Unified Skirmish League, including schedule, rosters, or how you can be a part of this league, we ask that you please visit uslzone.com. Guys, let's go ahead and jump into the Week 2 games. First up here, these games were held on KS10 this week. The first game of the night, we had Cats defeated Suicide Squad 53-29. Your MVP was Legacy. Get us started, Yosh.
Yeah, so this game played out pretty I didn't think TG was going to show up. And Cats looks like a different roster when you add TG into this lineup. Aerith, he started off a couple different classes. I think towards the end he really found, his groove playing Marine. I just want to shout out the meds from Cats, Bonds and Slob. I thought they played really, really well in this match. Pandy going 9-4. That's what you want to see from him. Hopefully we don't see playoff Pandy rear his ugly head. Because Cats need Pandy to really come out the gate swinging. As for Suicide Squad, I felt they came out a little bit flat. They didn't really have too much pop. I thought, Mountain put them in some pretty good positions, but they just weren't able to kind of finish the kills off. I thought Victim played really well in this match. Thought Fresh played pretty well as I thought Fresh played well as well, I guess. I thought Ghost Bomber did not play very well. I thought that Thiz needed to be LMG. Now, apparently he's kind of left the roster, so that's a little bit interesting. I want to hear more about that. Jake coming in, went 4-8, had a particularly rough game. Paulo was in really good positions, but he just wasn't able to convert some of the kills. So overall, it's kind of match played out how I expected. If Soul shows up, I think he replaces Aerith, and this game gets a lot worse.
Mountain, if you can, break down your game and what went right and wrong for you.
Yeah, I think the game went well overall, but if you have a bunch of new players in or rusted players, and you don't have Sabo or Shasta or whatever, the fights turn out completely different, right? Because you don't have that player that's fighting for the angle or putting pressure and stuff like that. So I think all in all, we played pretty well in the beginning, but I think at the very end, then you just saw the experienced players from like Cats just kind of take over and fight and win the angles for everything there.
Bowen?
Yeah, so kind of what everybody else echoed what they say. TG again showing up was very, very big and Legacy off. So as mentioned, I think TG adds a whole different level of the roster. And I don't think SS even played poorly. The game just got away from him a little bit. So was a fun one to watch though.
Yeah, I actually don't have as many negative thoughts about this game as like the scoreline maybe would suggest. I think that I think Suicide Squad, the first half of the game, I thought looked pretty fine. I think it kind of fell off towards the back end of the game. But that's exactly kind of what we're talking about with some inexperienced players. You had Ghost Bomber, Thiz, and as you mentioned, a rusted player. Jake looked very rusty out there. He is. Having played with him several seasons now, I know how talented he is. That was not the performance from Jake I would have wanted to see, and I have to believe that just not being online a lot had played into the way he performed on Sunday. But I would have wanted more from Ghost Bomber in particular. I don't think he had the best week, and there is a question Yosh raises it about who should have played the LMG in that role. I did think that Apollo was in the right positions. Fresh had a pretty good game as medic, I thought. You had some moments of really solid play. I would point out that Victim went 4-6 in a game you lost 29-53. That's really impressive from a medic, especially with 4,099 heals. He had a good game in spite of everything else. Flash 5-7 had a very fine game, and Mountain leading his team with 6-8. I think you just kind of you came up short in the veteran end of the game, and that's exactly what everybody else is pointing out. And you had Legacy and Gift absolutely show up for Cats. Both of those guys played outstanding. Pandy and Fairfax right behind them did not play poorly at all. And I agree. Yosh pointed out earlier, Bonds and Slob, fantastic play from those guys. I think this is. I was concerned about the medic core for Cats and how that would look long term. But if those guys continue to play like that, I think they'll be doing just fine. So let's go on to the second game of the night. I do want to take these Nexus games individually because I think they showed us some different things. Degeneration X defeated Nexus 73-40. Your MVP in the first game was Sav.
Yeah, so this game, we got a lot of people in. I think Worth got in. It was good to see. R and Grupp started off the night playing pretty solid as meds. And Sav was just a problem on AT going 20-6. As for Nexus, I thought they had some bright spots in this game. Choppy going 10-9. You'd love to see it from a newcomer at USL. Everybody knows I'm a big fan of the Chompy. I think he's, got a lot of potential. Fosto going 9-6 in a game. Very good to see. ATR, I didn't notice too much from him. Position wise, he just kind of stood flat at times. You got to have more production from Draco, though. Him going 4-9 is not what you want. Stoic, my man, you come from us. You got to be doing better than 4-11, right? Maybe Chompy was stealing some of those kills, but I did see something that I mentioned last week where you put Chompy, Rom, and Stoic together and let those guys go to work. Right? I thought that team right there, I saw it a couple times in the game. That team usually did pretty well. So that's one thing that you want to keep doing. Emperor made his glorious return to USL with a very, very sad 2-4. Emperor almost came out with a wimp. He was very, very sad and flat. MTR3, woof, he looked rough on the night. I don't know if what happened. I thought at times he just looked a little bit lost and dizzy. There's nothing really much more to say about it. I thought he was playing fine as Nader, but as a medic, he is not it. I don't think that's the class for him. Bowen went 1-1 in this game. I think he played like 3 minutes or something, maybe. So I think he plays more in the next game. And then DP going 0-10. That's a problem. For Nexus, you need to figure out who your meds are. I know Center didn't show up. I think Rom needed to be in this game as well. That he just needs to be in this game to provide some leadership for some of these guys. I think Rom is a very stable part of this roster, and he should never be sitting. Other than that, the game played out how I expected it to be. That I don't understand. For 15 minutes you could play well, and then that last 15 minutes it goes away from you. Someone please explain to me how this happens every week.
Mountain, what you think?
I think Nexus did very well in the first 15 minutes. Like they were doing some ambushes and stuff like that, and it was pretty good. But I think as time went on, then you can kind of see that their kind of weaknesses came out, and I think that Nexus kind of has to make a decision on what type of team they are, and then just kind of figure out what's not working there, right? Because technically, if you match up all those Marines, let's say if you do a duel, for instance, 60-40, most people are going to 60-40 the other person, so you have to kind of ask yourself what's going wrong here, right? Most of the time it's going to come down to positioning, and if you actually looked at that match, well, what happened? Saab was taking these massive flanks around and no one was picking it up. You need that one player to kind of just go fight him, push him out, and don't let him do that to you, just to stabilize the whole fight there. I need to see some good stuff. I mean, Chompy's doing really good. He's doing some actually minor small plays there, adjustments, which most new players don't even do. And I think ATR is doing very well as well. Kind of disappointed with mostly everyone else. That's kind of like a veteran player there. At this point, you should know how to fight, take angles, right? And you shouldn't let good players bully you. You need to adjust and rotate to the angles and just fight them off. You can't keep backing up.
Bowen?
Yeah. So the game. So we expected the game to be, we kind of knew what we wanted it to be competitive, but we knew it was going to a loss, really. So we kind of wanted to get some people in just to kind of get them play time as much as possible. The game was closer than I expected it to be, even coming out of the game. I mean, Chompy was going nuts. I mean, as mentioned, the first 15 minutes looked really good. I sat myself because my brain fog from being sick is still just a problem. But and actually Rom asked to sit to give another medic some play time as well. So yeah, we were just kind of spreading around a little bit. I will say there was a play that happened in the north building. Sav ran into the north building and just looked at ATR TP and one other guy. And now that I think he stared at them for a solid 5 or 6 seconds and just fired along.
It was at least 3 seconds. It was at least 3. He just looked at him.
Funniest fucking thing I've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, it was a fun match. We were more competitive than even a lot of people expected, including even myself in some cases. I thought we did overall well. Again, 15 minutes, last 15, it kind of fell apart. But
yeah. I agree with what everything's Bowen's saying. We talked a lot about this game and what to do. We are a team that we're focused on an atmosphere, I think, of everybody having fun and getting playing time. And it's not the biggest deal if we lose on Sunday. It's just not. What we really want to do is just improve. And I saw a lot of that from Nexus this weekend. I'm ecstatic about the performance this weekend. If you've seen some of our earlier SBs, you know how bad we can be. And so we were just focusing on pulling it all together and focusing on working as a team unit. And that means following Fausto. So a lot of guys got playtime. That was a goal. Fausto played, I thought, amazingly. He had a really good game, 9-6 in a game we lost here. I thought he didn't play as well in the other game, but in terms of leading, if these guys had executed exactly what Fausto said, I'm going to be honest, I think we probably maybe win this game. I mean, it's just the problem that we just didn't listen to him enough, and weren't prepared for the Sov 1v3 ambush. That was who's prepared for that. But Chomp did play amazingly. I think ATR's focus fire was excellent. I really think he played very well. I complimented him after the game. I think Enemy played really well. I complimented him as well. Their focus fire, the 4 of those guys had something going on that game. I do think we struggled a little bit from the medic perspective, but we were just trying to get some people in there, just trying to figure out what works for us, and that takes time, and SBs that we just haven't had a lot of. Stoink, I'm not too worried about Stoink. He knows he's over-aggressive. He is very over-aggressive. But as I told him, coming back from being over-aggressive is so much easier to coach than being too lackluster and sitting back on your heels. It's very difficult to push someone forward. It's much better to tether them and try to pull them back. And so I very much think Stoink will be fine. And especially if we're encouraging him to move forward, sometimes he's just going to have those games. But I thought overall it was a really good game to see Nexus come back and be what they can be. For those first 10 minutes, the score was 7-3 Nexus for a second, which I think you just have to step back and think about that. I mean, I know it's just the first battle, but considering our earlier SBs, it could have gone a completely different direction. And look at the Crusaders game for an example of what it could have been. So, yeah, I just want to say compliments to my guys on this game. Let's go to the next game and talk about any differences you see in the New World Order game. The New World Order defeated Nexus 65-25. Your MVP in that game was Sun. Yosh, take it away.
Yeah, Sun played really well. He's done really, really well this entire season, and I look forward to seeing what he's going to do this week. Pister played a pretty big role in this win too. He got all the little angles that they needed. Ninja showing up again. You got to have that guy keep coming back. Yeah, if Ninja keeps coming for this team, they're going to do very, very well. I'm interested to see if he skips a week to see how they're going to look. As for Nexus, I did see a lot more just cohesion. They had a solid game plan for like the first 10 minutes to where like Mountain was saying earlier, they didn't know what they wanted to do. At some points they tried to camp, at other points they tried to push, and you saw some of the results of that. I think Chompy went 4-9 in this game, and Stoic went 3-9, and what's his name? Rom GNR. I thought it held that team together pretty well, to be honest. DP came in a little bit later, went 0-2 his medic. That's fine. Bowen, big pickup from last week. He picked up some kills, went 5 and 7. You like to see that. ATR in this game looked awful to me though. He went 2 and 10, was not in the right positions at all. MTR3, oof. I think you need to put him on Dater. Like, I don't know. I don't know what to say about that guy. Fausto had an off game, I thought. Usually he's not gonna go 2 and 6. So Draco showed out 6 and 7. But I just wanted to shout out Bowen for doing well this week.
Thanks, man.
Mountain.
Yeah, I have similar comments to like Yosh, and it's kind of similar to the other game as well. NWO was doing really good. They were getting a lot of good angles and a lot of pressure. Ninja is just a really, really good player, and he opens everything up really well for other people to fight in. Yeah, Nexus, I think they were they're okay in the beginning, and they just blew apart by the time we got to halfway. Yeah, I don't know what's up with MTR3. I think it has to do with him playing like Sniper, Nader, and Pub all the time. If you want to learn the game, go Marine. Like I say, rank 1 or 2 every time, you'll get better. But if you sit in Pub sniping every day, ain't gonna work out. Yeah, overall, just to continue from the other convo, I think the positioning just needs a little fixing there, and just decide what you want to do as a team. Do you want to camp? Do you want to pinch? But just make your strategy clear.
Yeah, and I think a lot of that comes down to there was definitely some issues just performance wise in general with that game versus NWO, and a lot of that again is just Ninja being Ninja, split opening some things up, and we could not get kills around Sun. For some reason he just wouldn't die, and people around him wouldn't die. So it was kind of interesting watching that. And again, our focus fire was probably a lot of that problem, but he was in good position quite often in that game. So getting around that, New World Order is definitely a great team. Again, when Ninja shows up, he's nuts. And just some little things that kind of popped up in there. You know what I mean? Like, Center being out this week is a big thing I miss. Center being one of our best meds as well. He let us know before he wouldn't be able to make it. So I knew he wasn't going to be there. But yeah, we definitely miss his presence on that medic department because he's just very good. So I think we'll figure it out. And again, we still have this problem of like half team being aggressive, half team being passive. That identity is still kind of back and forth a little bit. I think putting Chompy and Maniac together is honestly a really great call because they're both hyper aggressive, being a CTFer, and Stoink is always aggressive. So we'll figure it out. I feel a lot better about how we played in general. It really wasn't a bad game. Yeah,
I am. I'll just echo that. I'm super proud of Nexus this week, just overall. Just a lot better from what I've seen in the past. I've played with Ninja for a long time. This is the first time in my memory that Ninja's made 2 games in a row. That's just impressive. I'm waiting to see if it's 3. I'm on bated breath. I think this game kind of signaled that we took some risks. We were pushing it against NWO in the beginning to actually try and keep the pressure on and play them toe to toe. And we didn't win that. There's no question about it. They got the better of us in nearly every battle after the first 5 minutes, but we gave it a good college try, and I'm proud of us for that. I would compliment Split, Ninja, and Danny. All 3 of those guys were just devastating. Also, Brillheart coming out of there with a 11-4 on the game. Really good streams, and I noticed him on the field. Again, I would have nothing but compliments for Sun. And Abbott, that medic team together. Sun finally has a name that I actually like saying, which is fantastic. Thank you for finally changing to something worthwhile. And Sun and Abbott, I think, are probably in my mind, the best medic combo in the league right now. Those guys are doing really well, and neither one of them was playing medic for a top tier team last season. That's just amazing to say. So anyway, I have nothing but compliments for Nexus, and I think that NWO played this game fantastic. They look like one of the top tier squads for sure right now, and they played this game as such. So let's move on to more of a different discussion. I do want to combine this conversation into one. We have New World Order defeating Crusaders 98-23. Your MVP in that game was Splitta, and Degeneration X defeated Crusaders. The score was 135-27. Your MVP was Colossal. Let's get your unvarnished thoughts on the gameplay. We'll focus a little bit more on the conversation of Crusaders coming up, but let's talk about the gameplay for right now, Yosh.
Oof, is how I'm going to start this off. First, Crusaders have been nothing but drama the whole time since they've started. Um, Callig leaving, pretty big blow, right? I believe, he showed up a week and then decided he didn't want to play anymore. Octavian decided he didn't want to play either, for whatever reason. I was told that he didn't want to play because he was muted in game, and then also that, he had been working, 12, 14 hours and was just tired, right? Either way, what are you really gonna say? I mean, Octavian is who he is at this point. Can't rely on him, and you know, kind of selfish, right? These guys needed him. As for Bax, he started off, I think, LMG in the New World Order game. Didn't look very well playing the class. Maybe that's because of the cast surrounding him, but he did not play very well as an LMG. He played a lot better when he went sniper, but his team suffered for it. It's the same classic thing. Yeah, Bax is going to put up kills, but his team around him is going to die. That's just what it is at this point. But they did have a couple bright spots. I thought Zoe has some potential and promise. From what I understand, he's a new guy. Found the game from Steam, so just wanted to shout him out. He's doing very, very well. And, he's going to take it, get kicked in the teeth this season, and then, hopefully he can upgrade to a better squad, next season. Right? What do you want to say about these guys, man? Like, they picked up a bunch of guys that just aren't going to show. And it sucks for Bax because he actually needs these guys to show. He picked up Kaga, who's not going to show. Scarface, who isn't going to show. Dave, who I think he kicked, not going to show. Right? Like, who else?
Dave pulled that ESO troll.
Yeah, I've been told that they were giggling in spec while these guys get rolled by over 100. Also, you see the fact that different maps play a factor in play styles, right? These guys look good on KR. Looked absolutely horrible on KS10. Just yikes on that. Shout out to Smackrock for dealing with all the captain stuff, And I'm just gonna put the question out there: is Tyrael ready to step up with Dark Slayers?
Well, we'll get to that here in a second. Mountain, give me your thoughts.
First of all, Dave is a scumbag, and he should be nominated for Scumbag of the Year because he trolled Bax that he was going to show.
He must have been so believable too, so convincing.
Very convincing. Trust me, it was pretty funny. But yeah, I think it all started going downhill when Octavian pulled that stunt of not showing for being muted, and I think this is just kind of like the continuation from the FUP team, just of like the toxicity. You kind of have like people who, in this league who want to play and win, and then you have people who don't want to win, have a good time, and then you just have people who troll, right? So this team is like filled with so many different direction of people that it just turns into a mess, honestly. And then the second part of this is, you log in and like Bax is a good guy, I know Bax or whatever, but you can't just log in and snipe every, SB and just have your team sit back and, take the beating for everything. Because when you come into the league, then what are you going to do when you're down, right? You got to start pushing and yeah, it just turns super sloppy. I think there's potential on this team. Like, yeah, Loy is a really upcoming player, I think. Really smart person playing. Honestly, he's asked a lot of people questions on how to improve and what he's doing wrong. So open to feedback. And I think Smackrock can get back into his form of playing before, but I think he's just on the wrong team. Um, if you're going to play USL and you want to win, then you're going to be pushing for angles and playing with a standard lineup. But if you're going to run Sniper Ripper every day and sit a cord from your base, probably not going to work out well. And you can see it in these two matches here by the scores.
Yeah, I mean, I've even talked to Bax about this a bit since Sunday because I mean, I legit feel kind of bad for him actually in this situation. Now, this is kind of a bet he's kind of laid himself into, but um, I still feel bad for anybody who has to deal with what he had to deal with this. And from a gameplay perspective, I mean, they were 7v8 at one point because Neg decided he was not going to play with that sniper anymore. Instead, if he switched, he was going to spec, and he did. So
Man of his word.
yeah, he did, and it was 7v8. And then they brought in 3K, who I don't know what he was doing honestly at first, but there was a lot happening. I think there's too many outside factors to make it so they could even concentrate on this game, and it just turned into the mess it was. So that's it from a gameplay perspective.
Yeah, these were tough games to commentate. I will say they were. The NWO game was rough, and then the D-Generation X game became, what am I watching? It was that they did not have enough players, which was the concern. The players they did have were they had to squad join people right out of spec, and recruit right out of spec, I should say. And the people that were there, I mean, like, I I don't know, man. It was a struggle to watch. The way they played was so disjointed. I know Smack was trying to do the best he could to keep them together, but it felt like they were. It was like a pub team. There was 8 people who were going their completely own separate directions there. That later became 7 people, and it was very, very difficult to watch. And I do feel bad for a lot of the people on this team. I just want to shout out Uni. Uni is having one of the. I mean, he would be having one of the better seasons of his career right now. He apparently has a new resolution. It's a big factor for him. I see it in the way he shoots. I think he's much better at shooting, but he doesn't get to show off any of that because he's running, trying to stay. Like, he was the last person. Go and watch the game clips and look at how often he was the last person to die. He did a really good job this week, and you'll never know that because he went 3-10 against NWO.
Oof.
That it's just not fair. It's just not fair. And I do agree that Zloy looks really good. I enjoyed playing with him. I SB'd with him a few times. He was easy to med. Took to instruction really quickly. I just kind of pointed out, maybe you want to, go into the bottom of this building and we'll cover this direction. Immediately did it. And I just have lots of good to say about him. Chica and Neg deserve better than what's going on right now. And maybe even Bax does. I feel bad all around, and we'll get to that here in just a second. I don't want to beat up too much because we're going to have a whole segment on it. So let's move ahead to week 3 games. These games are going to be played on Outpost Delta. I kind of want to make this kind of a rapid fire round, if you would, guys. Just give me your thoughts on who do you see winning the game, and if you want to predict a score, that's fine. Or if you think that there's any X factor that puts one over the other, we'll do this pretty quick. So the 8:45 game, there's three games in my mind are contesting for game of the week. I don't think this first 8:45 game is it, but I do think that it makes for a good matchup, a fun matchup to watch. And that'd be the 8:45 game is Suicide Squad versus Nexus. What do you think is going to happen, Yosh?
I think that this game, it's going to be interesting to see how this first game plays out on Outpost Delta. I think Suicide Squad runs away with this, and I think this could get really, really bad really quickly if Nexus doesn't figure out what type of style they want to play.
Okay. Mountain?
Yeah, I think my opinion is it's going to be a stat pad, and
Yes, that's
I
me.
think basically what we're going to do is we're going to run the AT over the top to get vision 100% of the time on your team there, and yeah, that's
I like
our
how you're
strategy.
like Babe Ruthing it right in my face right now. You're just like outside right field. He's going over the top, AT all day. Okay, Bowen?
I mean, we're going to do our best to keep it as competitive as possible. We're going to come in this with the best roster we can field at that time of day. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a fun game. We may not win, probably almost certainly won't win, but we're definitely going to give it a good try, and I think this is one of the games we have at least a chance in. So, moving on to the 9:30, I would put Suicide Squad with the win on that. To be clear, though, 9:30 p.m. Degeneration X versus New World Order. I think this is your match of the week. I'll let you guys weigh in on that with the score and who you think the likely winner is.
I don't think this is match of the week at all. Um, a lot of this is going to be depending upon Sam, right? If he shows, cool. I
3 in
played
a
with Sam
row.
before. I mean, yeah, I mean, it'll be 4 in a row. He's got 3 games already. So,
Hmm.
Oh yeah, that's right. You
uh,
did play in 3. You're right.
yeah. So this game's going to depend on Sam. How hard could he carry them? I played with Sam in the past. I love the guy. But can he fight all of us? It's going to be 1v9. And I think this is the game that you see NWO's meds get exposed. I think we are going to pick on Septicemia and Abbott all game. And you might see a return of an old face. I'm just going to put that out there.
Ooh, teasers. Mountain.
Dang, you kind of beat me to it, Yosh. I was gonna say, New World Order really hasn't been tested yet. If you think about their games, right? The first week it was Cats, who was missing a bunch of starters. Then it's been like StatPad, and they really haven't been pushed. And I think DX will run away with this, especially if Ninja doesn't show up. I mean, Ninja is putting up so much damage and pressure right now. If he doesn't show, I think NWO is gonna get a real bad a loss here. And I do agree with Yosh that the medics are kind of hiding behind the Marines right now, just because of the inexperience. Um, you know, you have NWO's players, which are matching up, like I said, with the previous week's ones. But when you match up with everybody on the field who's good, then you know the inexperience will start to show in that scenario. And I think if Ninja does show and he doesn't get going as well, then you're gonna kind of run into that situation where who's gonna be opening up the kills, right? Like if you look at the last match, it was mostly Ninja involved in like every single play there, right? So who's gonna break it open? And with Kev and Pister leading, it kind of puts you at 70% capacity. So who's gonna step up to fill that role?
I mean, yeah, I'll keep it short and sweet on this one. If Ninja doesn't show up, this game is a blowout. If he shows up, it's closer. But I do think GX is we're gonna see what NWO is made of this weekend. So yeah, I mean, I give this GX.
I really think you guys are underplaying New World Order. I'm just going to go ahead and say that. I think they are much better than you guys give them credit for. I don't know that they have it all gelled together to really win this game yet, but I think that it's going to be a step on the way. I definitely think that the combination of Splitta, Danny, Leak, Kevin, I think that is far more underrated for you guys than you guys are underrating them. Let me put it that way. I think Abbott and Sun are going to do well. We'll see. Trial by fire. You're right. We will see. But I think this is going to be the game of the week, as I predicted. I think that I think it's actually going to be Outpost Delta will probably be a more fast-paced map. I think we'll see higher kill numbers the way that I'm seeing these SBs run right now, somewhere in the 60s generally range. So I'm thinking like 65-45 Degeneration X, but I think it'll be closer in the actual game than the final score will demonstrate. We'll see if I'm wrong, and I guess the question becomes: is the match of the week then the next game, Cats v Degeneration X?
Oh, 100%. This is match of the week. Cats still #1 seed despite taking the loss. Until someone beats them, they will be the #1 seed. Right?
You got to dethrone the champs. Okay.
Yeah, 100%. You know, you got Soul and TG. We'll see if they show up this week. TG came off pretty fiery in his interview. Well, now's the time to do it again. Right? Can he prove that, it wasn't just luck the first time?
Mountain?
Yeah, this is gonna be a really good matchup. I don't think this is the same team as it was last season. Of course, Kaga's not there LMGing, which is a huge, you're kind of switching that for Pandy, which is completely different. But I did see Kaga the Snake sitting in team spec with them, so maybe he's gonna do the before roster switch. I don't know. But definitely it's gonna be a really good match to see, and I think Cats will win this. And why I'm saying that is because I think Legacy will carry them this game.
I think you're nuts. But I want to
He's
shout out
good, man.
Slop.
He's hard to kill. Very hard to
He's
kill.
very hard to kill.
I want to
Yeah.
shout out Slop. He's got the best name in the league. It's Hot Dog.
It's
That's
a great
important.
great alias. Bowen?
I mean, I think this is going to be a close match. If TG mentioned that he was not really playing this season, this one was kind of almost a one-off this past weekend. So I'd be surprised to see him if he doesn't show. I have to give this a DX. There's just so much pressure with TG, plus with play calling he does. Hard to knock that. So again, Legacy can carry, and it gives us some potential, but I think DX does take this a bit more.
I think Kaga is the missing X factor, man. I think him not in the game, he is the catalyst for kills. And when he's not there, I think that Cats is maybe just a little bit too slow on the uptake. And I mean, Gift would have to play just out of his mind. Tactical would have to play out of his mind, and like you said, Legacy would have to play out of his mind. Those three guys have to perform extra against Degeneration X, and I'm not sure that all three of them are going to show up in 1 week. So, yeah, I think Degeneration X takes the first one. I think it's not by that much, but maybe 10 to 15 at the end. I'd guess probably about 10. Let's move on to the next game, which is Cats v Crusaders. Anybody have any thoughts other than what we kind of think is the inevitable here?
Oof.
Yeah, good summary. Preview summary there. Let's go to the 11:45 New World Order versus Suicide Squad.
Is it going to be at 11:45? Is that?
Scheduled?
I don't know. It hasn't been scheduled officially.
Are we going to get the famous weekday match, SV?
I'm gonna put out 2 times for them for like 7 and 8. So I don't know if they're gonna accept it or not.
So you're saying this is on Pister? He's stalling.
This is on Pister.
Oh, okay. There it is.
I actually just pinged him too. Actually,
I think this is going to be a good match. I'm interested to see how this happens.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of done the analysis of these squads, but who do you think's going to win?
I'm going to give it to SV. I think he's too strong. I think he's going to have Sabo and Chas back this week, hopefully. Maybe we see CC return. I'm interested to see, well, Mites will be able to play. Maybe he gets a game in. I don't know if this is the game to play him in, but, I've seen Flo around too. So I'm looking to see, maybe some roster shakeups.
Mountain, are you betting on your boys for Sunday?
I think it's been very close. Sabo's not gonna be here. He's in Japan or something like that.
There's your
Said-
USL fantasy scoop right there.
Yeah. I'm number 1, by the way. Yes.
Get that
I just
Sabo.
wanted to shout that out.
Get Sabo off your roster quick. All right,
He's
continue.
Sabo said stop messaging me. I'm eating sushi. So,
Sorry, Sabo. I'm sorry.
I think it's gonna be very close. I'm gonna slow the match down and stuff like that. And yeah, Shasta's gonna be back too. Yeah, I've been watching the NWO play in pub and all the stuff that they're doing. So hopefully it'll be a very good match. But I think we'll beat them by a very close margin.
Bowen?
I mean, this one to me is almost a coin flip in a way, right? Like, especially with Sabo not being there. This is gonna be tight in my head. So it's hard for me to make the call. I will say Suicide Squad probably wins that 5.
I'm the NWO homer on this panel. I'm going to go ahead and tell you NWO is winning this game, and they're winning this game by quite a bit. I think NWO smacks SS on this one. No offense, Mountain. I think Mountain, you'll have an excellent game. I'm not sure about some of the rest of your guys. I think NWO wins this by 25.
I love this panel.
Anyway, let's go ahead. I did do a USL top 5 this week. I have not posted that yet, but let me go ahead and mark it down from 1 through 5. In descending order, 5th place, I have The Gift. 4th, I have Fausto. 3rd, I have Colossal. 2nd, I have Legacy. That's his second week as number 2, by the way. And number 1, I have Sun. I will write up the explanation for that. You can check it out on the forums on uslzone.com. For a brief breakdown on why I came to that conclusion. Congratulations to them all on incredible performances for week 2. So let's go on to Infantry Scuttlebutt here. What I have titled this is The Case for Crusaders. Let me go ahead and unmute someone real quick, though. We're having a guest appearance on today's show. And I will bring him in just one moment. Let me do a setup to this first. It's been a wild ride so far in Season 24 for Crusaders. Originally a meme squad, Bax brought the meme into reality as he recruited a talented, if unusual, roster that boasted a unique combination of proven league veterans like Kaga and Manu, promising new or returning talent like Smackrock and Metal, and the bad boys of Infantry in Bax and Octavian. While many were initially skeptical that this team could ever be successful, Crusaders worked through the offseason, squad battling perhaps more than any other team. And in week 1 of USL Season 24, they shocked everyone by utterly dominating Nexus and then narrowly losing out to Suicide Squad in back-to-back matches. Octavian was easily the player of the week in week 1, and Bax was in a position to laugh at everyone who doubted that they could outperform their fifth place seed in the power rankings. But then disaster struck. While we don't know everything about what transpired behind the scenes, here's what we do know. Metal left the squad. Octavian was permanently silenced, and Calixstar quit the game again. We're told Manu won't play again until Bax apologizes to him for some insult, and that Oct wasn't going to play until his speaking ban was lifted. It became an open question last week whether or not Crusaders would even be able to show 8 on Sunday, and sure enough, come game time, that's exactly what happened. Crusaders were forced to recruit at least 2 players in the arena prior to start, as Kevin denied the use of NTs. -0 specced out mid-match against D-Generation X, and they played 7v8 for at least 3 to 4 minutes of match time. The whole situation has devolved into chaos, and the question becomes, what does the league do now? One option that has been suggested is to replace Crusaders in Season 24 with a squad that can show 8, or who at least offer less drama for the league to deal with. Skirmish League veteran and Axe of Fury winner Tyrael then emerged from the shadows, stating that he might be able to offer a solution to this problem, volunteering to recruit a team from inside CTF to ride in and save the day. And to talk about that option and to make the case for his team's inclusion, we are joined right now by none other than Tyrael himself. Welcome, King.
How's it going?
Welcome, bud.
What's up, man?
You missed 2 champion.
Multi-time champion in multiple leagues. I would never downplay the man's
you want me to
accomplishment.
go over my resume, or
I mean,
what?
you could just sit here and boast for as long as you want. It might take. I mean, if you listed all your awards, we might be here for much longer than an hour-long podcast. Let me go ahead and start this off by asking you: would you tell me about your squad? What's the name? Who's on the roster? What's the interest level in skirmish from over there in CTF land?
Well, poking the bear, I was going to make it lowercase CRUSATERS, Crusaders, just to have some fun, but I think I'd stick with Dark Slayers. That is an old-school veteran squad. It's a presence that's been around for a very long time on the CTF side, and a lot of the people that I have rostered, which, by the way, I have 10 committed, and if I took 3 from Crusaders right now, we'd sit at 13, and I could definitely fill the last 2, but I do believe Dark Slayers is what we'd roll with.
Okay. Make your case, if you would, for why your squad Dark Slayers would be better for USL than the current Crusaders team.
Number 1, little to no drama. Okay, I can't say it'll be 0 drama because sometimes it's we have some people with some opinions. They definitely could be outgoing, but we would have little to no drama. 2, we would not hold the game or the league hostage by any means. That means that we're not going to say, well, I'm going to play sniper and you guys have to deal with it, and then we're going to lose by 60. I'm going to make fun of you all and kick you all and cause all this shit. 3, I can show people. I've got people committed right now, and it's as easy as you want to play USL. Yes, and it's what they did for CTF DL, that draft league. We had a lot of people that they said, well, they're not going to show up. They're never online. No, we get them online, and it doesn't mean I can't get a few extra people that maybe stop playing because of Bax and Octavian. Like I said, if we've got 13 right now, I've got 2 extra slots that I'm willing to fill with either CTFers, maybe even a veteran presence from USL that wants to come help out some people. But I've got people willing to learn and to contribute to the league versus trying to bring it down.
Well, I guess that kind of answers the question, but let me just ask you directly. Would you be willing to absorb as many members from Crusaders as you could into your squad?
I'll absorb 3, max 3.
Max 3. Well, that's an interesting part of it that definitely needs to go into consideration. I'm going to ask the panel here in a second, so I want you to be considering it. Let me say this last question here before I turn it over to the panel. I've been contacted by secret members of the infantry community who told me in no uncertain terms that this whole suggestion is a lot of hot air rooted in your hatred and loathing for Oct and Bax. Can you confirm for us, on your honor, here and now, that you have, as you say, 10 CTFers who are willing to answer your call and join in this league?
I have more than 10, but I have 10 committed right now. And it's not just the hatred of Octavian. And truth be told, I like Bax outside of the game. I think he's a fun guy. In game, I absolutely despise his persona and the character he's built. Octavian, fuck off. You suck. And just between us, he wasn't pissed about his permanent silence. He doesn't want to risk his #1 rating against better squads. He did the shit last season. He sucks. He'll always suck and whatever. So it's only 25% of me willing to do this to stick it to them both. But I would like to try and get more CTFers involved because that's the only way we're actually going to grow the population. We can't just be stagnating in our own zones and saying, fuck it, I don't want to learn CTF. Fuck it, I don't want to learn skirmish. This is what we have to do to survive. And I really appreciate a lot of the skirmers stepping up for the draft league. We had Colossal and Sabotage on our team at Phony as well, because Phony didn't show up, which sucked. But Colossal Sabotage won a draft league champ with us. They actually played games. Sabotage got an MVP. So we want to kind of, do the same with our CTFers. And these are people willing to learn. They're willing to trust in me in getting them involved. And I think it'll be just good for everybody.
Well, that is the final question I have. What I want to do is I want to go around the panel, take the temperature of the league a little bit and who the people we have represented. Do you, and put you on the spot, do you support Crusaders being replaced with another squad? Bowen, you can bow out if you need to on this one. Based on what has happened so far this season, should Bax have his squad stripped from him? And you're free to ask Tyrael any questions you need to, Yosh, Mountain, or Bowen.
Okay. Tyrael, some of the guys that you have, are they on current USL squads or no?
There are a few that would be benching on current squads, and one of the requests I would make is, because this is a unique situation, and there are people that have been loyal to me in the past, if we were able to do this, could we have a ineligibility waiver for some of these people to move over to help us?
That happens for squads that are brought in.
Yeah, that would be a no-brainer.
Yep.
So how I feel about this, I think this is a culmination of general shithousery from Bax and Octavian over the years. And if the administration wants to get rid of them, now is the time to do it. You have a guy willing to step in right now to potentially make our league better with players that we don't have an access to. I think this is the time to do it. Yes, it sucks for the current Crusaders, guys like Zoe and Smack, Chica, Uni, those guys that show in, week out. Hopefully, some of those would get picked up by some other teams. I know I can't pick any more players up unless we increase the roster limit, Bowen. Please. I have people that I want. Well, I mean, there's a deal being worked in the off season potentially.
Swear to God.
Anyway, but back on the topic at hand. I think if you're going to be a dick to the league and hold it hostage, like Tyrael said multiple times, Bax has already tried to do it once in the off season. He made a sly comment in one of the class changing forums about it. I think this is the time to move away from him. There's each week they're scrambling to get even 7, 8. If they don't have some of these guys step in, like 3K or Lunatic, they would have already forfeited 2 games. Now, I will say this: credit to where credit is due. Bax has given us a squad every season.
He has, and he's shown up every single week. And I'll be honest, I'll just come for. I'm talking to Bax actively as this is going on. Okay, so what I will say, and I do want to come to Bax's defense on this. He has not forfeited a game. He has. His squads have continuously showed, and he does encourage new players or players that otherwise are not squad joined to get involved in the league.
Yes.
I think all those things are true. And also, I'm looking at the roster right now. There's 15 guys on that roster. Now, maybe some of them aren't super active, but there's 15 guys on there. So, Yosh, let me put you back on the spot real quick. Are you saying we should do this at the expense of the 14 other players that are not backs on that team?
Let's be real here. There's not 15 players on that roster, right? Yes, in theory there is, but let me actually count how many players are actually going to show.
I'll do it for you as 7.
Is it 7?
Oh,
Okay.
wait.
1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna count Negi in this.
I'm not counting. I'm not even counting. I got more than 7.
6.
Yeah, I would certainly
have
think there's
7.
more than 7 on there, but
I have 7.
That's
so
me.
I have Zoe, Trax, Smack, Negi, Chica, Uni, and Bax.
Which is the core, for
Yes.
sure. It's just a question of whether or not. Yeah, you're right. Whether or not these people show up.
7.
You're exactly
right. The rest
right.
of them, they're not players. They don't show up. They're literally on the roster just to be there to make it for appearance sake.
Well,
right?
I guess we'll find out this coming Sunday, perhaps. But let Mountain, you've been silent. Let me hear it, man. Lay it on us.
I'm gonna get banned from that other USL Discord. I think honestly he should just give it up. Like I don't know if Tyrael's the right person though. I'll give you my reason why I should give up, and I'll give you my reason why Tyrael's not the right person.
Okay.
Honestly, myself and both pitchers said just leave that team and you can come play for us to Bax. Right? Bax isn't even a bad player.
No, he's not.
Like he understands basics and he knows how to fight and everything like that. You should just give it up maybe a season or 2, let someone else do that thing, whatever he's doing there, take their beatings or whatever, and have fun for once, right? So you don't have to manage multiple people and their personalities. I think Bax by himself isn't really like that much of a detriment to like this league, but when you put Oct there, honestly, Oct is a big cancer. And when you put those two together like that, then it becomes like a big problem to like not only the team that they're on, but like to the league in general. So I would agree with giving up the squad that he's in, just so he can go, like I said, to Pister or myself to play, and maybe let someone else help those people there.
So are you willing to let Bax snipe every game then?
Not gonna let him snipe though. No.
Oh, well, see, that's the part of the problem right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Necessary part of the contract, sir. Sorry, no deal.
No one's gonna let him snipe. So if he doesn't get the snipe, that's why he creates his own squad so he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Next season, there's no sniper anyway.
Right.
Whoa! Did we just hear a leak from our league admin?
I've said that. Like, there is no sniper next season. It'll be we're probably doing some sort of combat sniper, and it will be like a spec ops class. So I'm not doing sniper again.
Whoa! Look, the people at USL are shocked right now.
No sniper
next season.
Bowen,
meta is just not proper.
I do want to get to Bowen real quick, if I can. Let me jump here.
I would have a lot to say.
Can I finish the end though?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Why is Tyrael not the guy? That's what I want to hear.
I think Tyrael's not the guy because this goes back all the way to season 2 tank with me and Yosh. Every time we tell this guy stop playing Ripper or Nader, he just never listens. And you're gonna bring in all these new players with a person who, honestly hasn't learned to play USL because of their own behavior as well as
Shots
Bax.
fired.
It's just like it's the equivalent of Bax going sniper of him going Ripper or Nader during a match, right? And
so you're saying they're the two sides of the same coin, essentially.
It's pretty much, yeah. And when I came back to USL and I saw Tyrael playing, and then I think it was one playoff match or something like that. Yosh and Eric was like, they were like, "Oh no, Tyrell's going Nader. You heard that Nader sound?" Just like, you know, it's kind of like replacing something with something else that just doesn't work, and you're gonna teach bad habits into new players that honestly it's gonna be like a huge issue in the future to correct their play styles.
Well, I'll let Tyrio, I'll let you respond to all this in just a second. Let me get to Bowen. Bowen, and maybe you can't say anything. I'll let you decide what you can say. But from the league perspective, what also where does the league stand right now on where Crusaders is? Are we still? The rule is that you have to have 2 forfeits. Am I wrong?
Correct.
So, and he's not there.
Right. A couple things I can say. First off, fuck you guys for the amount of PMs we're gonna get after this is aired. Second, second,
go achieve.
Yeah, right. Secondly, like the big thing that I've even said this to Bax is like this cannot be what Crusaders is week to week for the rest of the season. It just can't be. Like this cannot be like this can't be the squad that needs to show up 6 or 7 people and then pick up somebody last second to fill out the roster. Like they picked up 2 people in this week alone. I still don't know if they're even going to be active people. So that's all I got. I can't say much more beyond that.
I get you. I don't disagree with any of that, but I am a lawyer and I come down to the structure of the rule. And the rule right now says 2 forfeits. I wonder where were these CTF guys on week 1 because we could not have been more inviting to them. I would have liked to have seen a play-in for the 6th squad this season. I think that would have been a way better way to resolve this. And as Bax points out, Nexus might have been the squad that got booted at that time. So, you know what? I would have been fine with that. I would have thought that that's a fair result. If there's 7 squads all vying for 6 spaces, it is what it is. But at the same time,
let's be honest here. If we had 7 squads, we wouldn't be doing a play-in. We just let them all in.
Maybe that would be the decision. 6 is such a nice round number.
That's
but
what
I will say
for.
is there has to be 2 forfeits for us to boot a team out. I don't particularly agree with changing things midstream. And I think in this case that we probably need to let it play out the way it's going to play out. And I would love to see that CTF team come in as the 7th team next season. There's some great CTF teams in skirmish lore and history. And I would love to see that happen again, but this isn't the season for it. And I honestly think that Bax deserves a level of fairness to him as well as from him to us. So I probably would be opposed as of right now. But Tyriel, any final remarks? I know we have another segment with you coming up, but any final remarks, advocacy for your CTF team or just general responses because you definitely got shots fired?
Yeah, that's okay. So just real quick for the Mountain, I actually played Marine and LMG more often in Season 2. So if you want to go back and look at my stats, that's fine. I'm also the highest rated support player of all time in USL, and I never played on a majorly winning team. I don't always play Ripper, Nate, or Demo, and this season I would not play Nate or Demo because they're nerfed to hell. However, the last season I did play, every season I've always been a positive KDR, and I have a 9.2 average for KPG. So I do know how to play the support classes. The problem is a lot of leaders don't like to lean into that or play around that. They want to lead into their core. So I do think that is kind of a shitty statement. I am willing to play what's going to make sense for the team, but right now, Marine and LMG are pretty much the only thing you can't play. Every other support class is shot. In terms of backs and fairness, this isn't legalese or anything. We can do whatever we want whenever we want. It's our private league. So if you want to change the rules mid-season, you're more welcome to. I will say though, like strike when the iron's hot. These CTFers are here because the draft league just ended. They're not going to be around forever. But backs and this shit will continue on. And if you wait 2-3 more weeks till the end and think, well, man, we should have made this change long ago. This has been years in the making. It's every season. So I'm willing to do it. My team is willing to do it. And this will set a precedence where stop fucking around. Stop trying to hold it hostage. Stop trying to make it all about you. Stop being an asshole. Let's just play the game and enjoy each other's company and not dick around.
Well, I want to say from the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate. Yeah, well said. From the bottom of my heart, I do appreciate the offer. Legitimately, I think we all do. Having an alternative is certainly fantastic. And I got to SB against Dark Slayers. I thought you guys played very admirably. You beat us. I think you beat us 2 out of 3 games. And it was a very fine performance from you guys, and very much enjoyed those games. Let me see.
Get him
here.
in. Do the right thing, admin.
Let's move on to a next segment, which is, let's see here. I want to talk about the Capture the Flag Draft League, which is going to be coming up. Let me bring in somebody here, an additional guest in addition to Tyrael. Imp, can you hear us?
Am I unmuted? Oh, hey guys, what's up?
Nothing much, man. Welcome to the show.
Worst player in USL history, by the way.
Savage.
Why am I still taking strays? I don't.
Hi, Imp. Welcome back.
We do want to talk about CTF DL. You just completed season 1 prior to the start of USL season 24. And from an outsider's perspective, you guys had massive success in that league. Lots of participation, and the competition level was really high. The production level of CTF DL Live had me green with envy. I am in the process of improving my production quality on USL Live as a direct result. But talk to us about season 2, what's upcoming. Let's start with Imp. Tell us about your league and why people should look at CTF and what you guys have going on for season 2.
So first off, I want to give all credit to ZMN. I don't know if everybody here knows ZMN. You know, he's an old CTF player. CTF DL really was his baby. He pushed it. I don't want to say he collected all the players to come back, but there's a lot of old faces that have recently come back to CTF in the last few months, and ZMN deserves a lot of credit for pushing that. And you know, he's devoted a lot of time to try to get CTF populated again. You know, there's Twin Peak Tuesdays, but so right now with CTF, we don't have a lot of traditional squads, so we can't. It's hard for us to field like 6 traditional CTF squads and have like a traditional league. So we're hoping, you know, if we can get like 20, 30 more players, we'll be there. But we do probably need like there are 20 or 30 more active players. So right now the draft league is just a really good way for us to log on and play competitive CTF. I don't know how you guys feel about public skirmish play, but public CTF play, it's pretty bad. You know, you just have people running around shooting plasma cannon, RPGs, and grenade launchers.
It does seem to be quite confusing. I'll definitely say that.
Yeah, it's very unorganized, and it's just people just run around doing whatever. And if they enjoy that, yeah, I'm not trying to knock on them. But for the vast majority of your CTF PL, you know, the old CTF PL players, we want to play more competitive, more organized style of CTF. So the CTF DL is basically just a way for us to do that. It helps even out the teams. And season 1 was definitely a great success. So all the credit to ZMN, you know, all the captains who stepped up to pick, you know, great teams. I didn't think there was one team that was like hands above the rest. It was very even. So, you know, like in USL, I feel like every season you gotta wonder if Sov and his weebs are gonna win, right?
Wow.
But when you have I know, like actually you guys lost last season, right, Yosh?
We did lose last season.
Oh man!
Time for you to catch some strays.
So are you the new admin of CTF? Is that why you're the representative right now, Imp? Have they nominated you?
I realized this is what Tier was bringing me in for.
Okay, I was trying to get X5 on for his interview because Zeman skipped him after the championship game. But Emp is playing Diablo with me, and he's like, "Yeah, I'll be free. I'll come on and hop in." But Emp is the admin of the segregated skirmish league we're going to be doing.
Whoa, so Imp is going to be part of this roster.
So I am.
Oh, well, man. No, I'm not, man.
And
I'm ready.
I'm a former admin for CTFPL. So ZMN, you know, bounces ideas off me and, you know, asks me for input. At the end of the day, he does whatever he wants. So, but it works, right? But no, I think the CTFDL was a great success. And the thing I liked about it was how even the 6 teams were, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, it did seem like you had a really high competition level, and that's exactly what a draft league hopes to promote, right? Tyrael, let me turn to you and ask you. So, October 27th, I think, looks like the USL playoff weekend for us. That means November 3rd, as I understand it, the following week would be CTFDL Season 2 kickoff event. How many squads do you guys have? What do the captains look like? Tell us about it. Am I right in saying November 3rd?
Oh, if I know, I'm not on the staff. I'm
That's
just a player
perfect.
that won the league.
Perfect. But
So
go ahead.
the plan is to literally, I think we want to draft teams the week like close to when USL is going to end, so we can immediately start like another 4-week season right when USL ends. You guys are in your dead zone.
If I can make the recommendation right now on the show, if you guys would do it on Saturday, I imagine you would get a lot of viewers from the USL side, or on maybe on Thursday, maybe a weekend, 2 weekend days doesn't work, maybe a Thursday or something like that. I think you get a lot of viewership. Be a good time to get the USL guys involved, and to set up. We can do a lot of cross promotion, and I think that would be definitely something I'm interested in doing. But yeah, the way you guys did that event last time with the video and everything was just awesome.
Yeah, no, a lot of credit to the guys who step up to broadcast, like Hearthbull. I think Albert broadcasted a lot. Yeah, both those guys. Flair, I think, broadcasted some. No, they bring a lot of great entertainment and a lot of high level analysis. But going back to your, if we could do CTFDL like on a Saturday kind of thing, that was actually one of the suggestions I was trying to push for, as in my whatever kind of influence I have, because USL's got Sundays on lockdown. You guys have 100 active players. I hate trying to. It's like, you guys remember what was it called? The USFL. It's like the USFL trying to go against the NFL, right? Let's stay in the spring. Let's not move to the fall and compete with the NFL, right? 40 years ago or whenever the USFL and NFL clashed.
Well, I mean, you guys are the ones turning out 127, 130 people to an arena. It seems like the interest in both leagues is extremely high.
No, and it really is. And I think if we can get like 20 more active players and 6 people who will captain real squads and not just, draft/mixed teams, I think we could see a CTFPL come again in the near future. ZMN's kind of disappeared on us. I don't know if anybody.
I did the exact same when Skirmish ended.
He's fine.
Yeah, I did the exact same when USL ended. So you just need to, disconnect and recharge the batteries. And I just can't keep going with that level week to week to week. So I imagine he's in the exact same boat. Let me ask you, we had a lot of returning Skirmish players for USL, particularly this season. Are there any hints of any older CTF players coming back for the game next season? Anybody reaching out to anybody? And who would be a legend of the game for each of you to bring back?
I play WoW with Salov, Jericho, Mites, and Fly Molo, and I'm trying to get Molo to come back for the CTF squad if we can do it for USL.
Oh, I'd like to see Molo back.
Very cool. What a legendary Marine in Skirmish as well. How about you, Imp? Anybody?
I'd like to try to get some of the BDS guys, Black Dragon Society guys back. So like if we get Cypher, I doubt he'll ever come back, but if we get Cypher to come back, I feel like that could be a domino. Like, because if Cypher comes back, it increases the odds of like Lingo coming back.
Kind of a recruitment tool.
Back,
yeah.
I feel like it would just be like a domino effect. It's a really high ask. I know people are trying to push for him. Yeah, Chris just told me people have been trying, and but I feel like that's kind of the person we need, like, is one of those old school, long-time captains. If they came back, I feel like that could be a domino effect for like another 15 to 20 old school CTF players, and maybe then we have the 6 squads that could, have like a real league going.
Well, let me ask you guys finally, just a final question to both of you. For USL players who are wanting to get involved, how do they do it? what's the best way to learn CTF if they don't know CTF, and what's the best way to get involved in the league?
Are you guys familiar with Silly Wanker? He's a
No.
CTF player.
No.
I do not actually know Silly Wanker.
Tier, you don't want me to talk about his dojo?
Dojo.
So the dojo, it's kind of corny, but if you are interested in playing competitive CTF, he's giving real advice. And I think if you are a newer player who doesn't, like in USL, you got to learn positions.
Oh,
your
absolutely.
splits,
Yeah.
your angles. That's the kind of stuff he's teaching in what he's calling the dojo. And obviously, if you're Tyrael, you already know all that stuff. So you kind of roll your eyes at, something called the dojo, where it's just teaching, everything you already know, right? But if you are new and want to learn CTF, competitive CTF, that's the way to do it. And the only other thing would probably be, coming on during mixes and, actually spectating. A lot of people sit and chat and then just chat, but actually watch the mixes. Like watch Flair, watch Tyrael, watch X5. Watch these players who know what they're doing and can try to and then obviously like you do in USL, try to mimic what they do.
Well, Emperor, Tyrael, thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate the update on CTFDL and everything, all the other words you said. Guys, thank you for being here.
Absolutely. Thank you. Put us in the league.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Big fan of the dojo, by the way. I'm a part of it. I think I've learned quite a bit, actually.
Can I have 1 minute for my response on that, and then I'll leave?
Yeah. Leave us with any final thoughts. What's up?
Okay. I think the second part of Emp's statement is the more accurate one. Watch players ask questions, because everybody does play differently. What the dojo's doing, and we have a lot of people who are reaching out. There's some positives, there's some negatives, but a lot of it is we have a lot of like backseat drivers this past season that did want to play in the draft league, and they want to act like professors of the game. And so you're getting one real take of one person's play style, and they're trying to solidify it as stone, and that is not the case. So everybody plays differently. I know that there's only 2 D heavies in the entire draft league, myself and Tactical, and I know Tactical mimics a lot of what I do as well. And I'm not a traditional D heavy. I don't sit there spam ACMML. I adjust myself, and a lot of people don't like that. So everybody has their own play style. Some of it's effective, some of it's not. But I do think watching and talking to the people individually and getting a good basis for ways to play in different styles is gonna be better than just having a public setting like that. I'm not the biggest fan of it.
I do want to echo that what he said is 100% true. While Silly Wanker is probably giving a lot of great advice, you need a diverse range of, if you actually want to learn CTF, you need to watch and learn from multiple players, not just the one style. No, a great point, Jeff.
Okay, can we go play D4 now?
I'm on right now, dude.
Well, thank you guys again for joining us. Really appreciate it. Get involved in CTF if you can, guys. I think it'd be good for everybody. So let me go ahead and move on now let's go to the mailbag. Guys, I have a few quick questions here. We're trying to lightning around this. First up, after listening to the Gifts post-game interview this weekend, I have to ask whether his win against Sov last season, who played Medic, by the way, has gone to his head. Gifts stated that, quote, all he does is win, end quote. But he spent a number of prior seasons losing, with one notable exception being season 22, when he had a fallout with Mecca and then switched teams to go win a ship with Saab. With Kaga out of the picture to carry his team, is Gift trying to lay the early groundwork for Cats to use the excuse for losing that we didn't even try this season? And then, because there's not a lot of actual questions in that, let me follow up with these. Is Gift really a top Marine in this league? What kind of difference does he make for Cats? And what was the bigger factor in the Cats' victory on Sunday? Was it the Gift or KS10? Let's just go around the horn.
So I think that Gift is a top Marine. That can't be disputed. I'll be honest, I thought they got incredibly lucky in that championship match. We got the first kill, made a stupid mistake, and it costed us. Right? We run that battle out with that same scenario 10 out of 10 times, or 10 times. I think we'll win 8 of them. I think we make a different decision when we fall, like we should have done. There's nothing they can do to win that game. I think the championship match was very, very close, obviously. And that was the worst roster that we could probably put in years, to be fair. Like, Salve was playing medic. Our Marine power wasn't there. Kaga played outstanding all season. Soul showed up. I think they had the perfect storm to beat us. Good on that. Do I think they're setting it up for again to say, oh, we didn't care, we didn't try? Of course. I think they do this shit every season.
Mountain, what do you think about the gift and how important he is to Cats, and is he getting too big of a head?
I think Gift is a really good player. I didn't think so before, like a long time ago, but yeah, he's a very good skill player, very hard to kill, and I think right now he's probably burnt out, right? Because you're captaining a squad, and then, I mean, they kind of just accomplished what they were trying to do. I think with a lot of squad, they're trying to beat Sov's team, right? So they kind of did that, and then now he's just, kind of turned the button off. So, and I think now he's trying to get back into it. I think the Cats team, again, if you put Kaga in there, I think just pound for pound, their fighters are just better than DX. That's just how I see it.
Bowen?
Yeah, I mean, kind of echoing what everybody said. I won't really stay on it too long. I think Yosh a great player. I think he was a big factor for this week. His whatever ego people say he has is pretty justified. Like, he's one of the guys who backs it up. So
yeah, Gift does back it up. That's exactly right. I think he also is trying to lean really hard into. I said this league doesn't have enough villains, and he is trying to fill that role right now. And I appreciate the showmanship to a certain degree, but I also think that he can back it up because he is a very top tier talent Marine. Best support player has kind of been the joke long standing, but honestly, that's true. He does get a lot of hits. I don't even know for what reason it is, but he doesn't finish the kills often. But he is constantly participating and definitely in the focus fire. And even if he doesn't get that last shot, we know who took a lot of the damage points, and his assist points tell the tale, so to speak. Let's move on to second question. With Iron electing to play Marine this season, the discussion and debate is heating up about who is going to be named the best medic in Season 24. Currently, the top 5 on USL Zone in descending order are GNR, Fresh, Bonds, Victim, and Sun. Sun is currently, Sun playing medic has been a welcome surprise this season, and he definitely would get my vote right now. But outside of Sun, who has stood out for you so far this season?
None of those. Hot dog. I think it's Slob.
All right. Mountain?
What was the medic list again?
Currently, just the top 5 on the website is what they put in here. I don't think it influences necessarily who is the top 5, but in number 5 is GNR, number 4 is Fresh, number 3 is Bonds, number 2 is Victim, and number 1 is Sun.
I would say Victim, just because he's on my squad and I was there when he was on Pay Pigs and whatnot. I think Victim's very underrated as a medic. Like, I helped him explain vision and positioning and stuff, and I've never seen someone improve so quickly as a medic. So I would say he's probably the best on that list, sir.
I agree. Victim's my boy, and I don't care who knows it. And I absolutely think he's been playing really, really well. That 4-2 he put up in a contentious game last week was awesome. He, even in a loss, he performed very well. And he has high healing numbers every game. And yes, that doesn't tell everything about how someone played, but I think it's a very fundamental piece of being a medic is getting heals. And Victim does that in spades. I do think Sun is definitely the overwhelming number 1 in my mind right now as well. But there's a lot of room for improvement. I agree exactly. Hot Dog has done well. Bonds has done very well. And I think certainly Abath is, in my mind, somebody that we should look to have a good postseason as well. Thiz, the king of... This is an interesting question with Mountain here, too. Thiz, the king of online games, is the latest player of many to leave Suicide Squad. Why do you guys suspect Suicide Squad has such a high turnover of players? Should new players be encouraged to join Suicide Squad, or should they be directed to other squads if the goal is player retention?
I think just certain players don't gel on certain teams. Like, that's just what it is, right? As far as like certain people can't take criticism either, right? Now, a lot of that's how is that criticism delivered? Whatever. I'm somebody you could tell me, Yosh, you're fucking up, this and that, and I'm not going to take too much offense to it. But some people are a little more, softer in their approach. Needs to be coddled a little bit, right?
Kid
Um,
gloves. Kid gloves.
yeah, kid gloves on. I think SV's doing fine.
I don't know.
Mountain.
We talk about the high. We
Oh.
talk about the high turnover rate for Suicide Squad. Sorry, I mean jump in there,
No,
but
you're fine.
we talk about a high turnover rate for Suicide Squad. Like they haven't had anybody leave the squad except for Thiz in the last 2 weeks. Like they've been pretty stable, really. I mean, the only person to leave was Thiz, and he pretty much said he was like I can't get up with him. He left all the discords, like all infantry discords. So I don't know what happened to him. So I don't
Well,
think
Axis left too.
Well,
Is that what happened to your knowledge, Mountain? Can we get some inside baseball on this? We have no idea what's going on here. For Thiz.
That was the both.
So Thiz, so he played in our match, and everything was good with Thiz. I think USL was just too much, and he didn't really want to learn it after the match because it was a very tough match on himself, right? So essentially, I think he just gave up infantry altogether. He barely practiced with us. I think he probably SP'd twice in a month. So I think he just didn't want to continue playing, and yeah, I mean, all the best to him, right?
It is kind of a bummer. I thought that he had. I mean, he was a kid that I was kind of hyping up because I saw the immediate take to the game but it was so raw, and I was just like, if he was on another squad besides NYPD, the talent that he could show, especially with the right kind of fostering, and I was hopeful that you were going to give him that right kind of fostering. I'm sad to hear that he wasn't super inactive, but no, I don't think there's an issue with Suicide Squad at all. In fact, I'm very happy with what you guys have been able to turn out, given the what looked to be. I mean, you were cobbling it together right to the beginning of week one, and what you've got right now. I could not be more impressed with your performances in week one, given what I know was happening on Tuesday and Wednesday. Apollo has been a big part of that, and yeah, I think the culture over there you got is great. I know Victim well enough to know exactly what kind of culture he brings. So yeah. It seems like a fun group.
You know what it is?
What's that?
Let me just explain what it is. When most people play, let's say, middle tier squads, right? It's very easy to kind of fix your mistakes on the fly, and it's not a big deal. But when you go into a very good team, like the small things make a difference, and then if it's not managed properly, it turns into a big blowout, right? So a lot of people can't make that jump. And I think if you're gonna play on my team, there's an expectation that if you played for 4 or 5 seasons, you should have a grasp on getting angles and fighting, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not like rocket science, but if me or anyone is leading have to come back and constantly tell you over and over again that, hey, fight for the angles, do this, do that, right? I get it might sound bad, but think about it from my perspective too, right? Like I have to come back and tell you every single time to do something like that.
You can't micromanage everybody all game, every game. Yeah.
Right.
Well, I would say Axis was a new player. He didn't fit that bill. And I was told.
You're funny, Yosh.
I was told that he was raged at. That's what I was. That's what they're telling me right now.
I was very easy on Axis because I realized it was first time playing, right? And basically, the match was pretty close, and then it got to the end, and then he suddenly changed to Ripper, and then I asked him politely, I was just like, "Bro, can you please just switch off Ripper, go back to Marine? Because everyone's trying to improve, and we're playing a good team." The guy didn't even listen to me at all, and then a minute later, I asked him again, "Hey, can you please change?" Didn't listen to me again. Then the game ended, and then he quit, and I was like, "Okay."
That's a funny recounting of what happened there. That sounds.
Whoa, Rob, you have some firsthand knowledge?
I don't have any firsthand. That just sounds funny to just say, I'm done playing Ripper. I think I'm going to log off and take my ball and go home now. So let me go to the next and final question I got for Mailbag. Which former skirmish squad leader, that can be from USL or SL, would you most like to see return to the game? And do you think that they could craft a squad today that could compete with Sav? Anybody got anything?
There's a couple of names that bring them mind. Can they craft a squad in our limited talent pool though? That's the problem.
Yeah, it definitely would be, but you have to assume they'd be peeling some of these players off. It's going to have to be a leader with a force of will that like people just gravitate toward him. And one name that jumps out to me in being the modern age of infantry, as opposed to the early years, because Mecca always rags on me that when they were alt strafing, that's not really a good measure of a talent, which is true. What I would say is Maddox. I would really love to see Maddox come back to the game. Yes, he had a toxic attitude at times. Yes, he could be worse than Bax in terms of verbal abuse frequently. But at the same time, he was an excellent Marine. And he was really good at knowing the personnel he had and using them effectively. And trading up. He was always good about saying, I need this position to be changed for this one other guy. And I think he would probably be able to cobble together a team, maybe not the first season, maybe even not the second, but by the third or fourth season, I think Maddox versus Sav match off would be really fun to watch in season 24 of Free Infantry.
I'm gonna tell you why that's not gonna happen. Right? Obviously, because he's not coming back. Right?
Yeah.
We're so. But most of the people don't know who the hell he is. So that's a big deal. But I'm going to give you one that I think could make a squad to be competitive. And I'm going to shout out to the DP because he gave me this one. Darth.
Darth execute.
I think Darth could make a competitive squad. I think he'd get the most out of Pandy. I think he could get ER back.
You think System Air's competing with your squad? I
didn't say beat us.
Oof.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you're right. He does pull Pandy. Raver has been. Where the hell has Raver been? Raver probably comes back to the game if Execute is back with his boys. Uni has a permanent home again. There's a lot of guys that would come back to the fold instantaneously, and I think you're right about that. And I think Darth Execute has actually been hinting that he is working on the Dark Lord will rise again.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a guy that puts together can put together a competitive roster, right? Will it beat us? I mean, anything can happen. Right?
That's why we play the games.
Can I chime in?
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey.
So Maddox came back briefly and he was trash. Not surprising, given how long it's been since he played. But in that pool of players, I would say if Kippa came back and he pulled together maybe like Ninja and England and a couple guys like that, I could see them being competitive. But otherwise, I don't think the Darth camp is ever going to work again. He tried it. What was that, like season 4 or 5, and they got stomped so hard by Saab. It wasn't even funny.
I was on that team, and it was brutal.
Yeah, I was on that team too, and I think Darth got to the point where he got so triggered that he just like stopped leading, and he went on this huge rant about Saab being a huge dork, which everyone already knows. And I think it turned anyone off from playing with Darth again, myself included. So I don't think it would work.
Do we have a recording of this? Because I would love to hear it.
He was leading that season with a pet squirrel on his shoulder as he was playing.
He went on this long rant like during the champ game, right? And I'm just like, hey, can we like play? And he just wouldn't stop. And I think we just got stomped out by like 40 to 50. It was pretty rough.
How did I not know this?
Anyway,
I remember that squirrel.
Well, thanks to our co-admin Tactical for weighing in there. Appreciate that. Kippa would be a great return to this game, no question. Well, guys, that's all I've got for this episode. I got a couple of things here at the end. Any final comments from any of you guys? Any final things you want to leave us with?
You want me to answer that question for you though?
Oh yeah, I didn't even get your answer. Go ahead.
Your question was putting together a team to beat Saab?
Or a team that could just be competitive. It doesn't have to beat them necessarily, but just be competitive.
I think you could probably do it if you put Legacy, Shasta, me, Manu.
Well, who's your leader who's coming back? That's the question.
Kippa.
Okay.
Soul, and Kaga.
That is a pretty strong lineup you've crafted there from every team in the league.
Well, you said a team to beat Saab's team.
You're right. I have no doubt that team would be competitive, and I guess that team could get together. There's no question. I'd love to see that super group form. Well, guys, to leave us here with a few things. Commentator signups. USL Live needs your help. If you're interested in participating as a commentator, please reach out to me on uslzone.com or on Discord. We can talk about it and get you set up. Colossal and Grump have been great additions, but I'd also like to get some volunteers from Suicide Squad, hint, hint, and New World Order to add different voices to the games if I can. Mailbag questions. You got them? We want them. Funnier the better. Send your questions as private message to me anytime you'd like. And yes, Emperor, we'll keep them anonymous.
Love you, Imp.
Closing, that'll do it for USL Live and Season 24 Week 3 preview show. You can play Infantry for free. Download the game right now and for free on Steam. Just type Free Infantry in the search bar or visit freeinfantry.com. If you're interested in league play, please visit uslzone.com. Sign up on site where you can view roster schedules and forums. Be sure to check out all our available videos on the Infantry Online YouTube page. Built and maintained by military police, feel free to relive the nostalgia anytime you want by going back to watch past play from previous seasons. I'd like to thank my co-hosts for today's show. We had The Mountain, we had Yosh, we had Bowen, special guest appearance from Tactical. We also had Emperor and Tyrael. It was a full boat today. Thank you to our executive producer, Military Police. This has been Romulocks, and you've been listening to USL Live.